we sell our capsules in refillable glass jars to the first-time consumer. And for our retention or our retaining customers, for people who come back, they will buy their capsules in what we call the 4 weeks pod pouch.
Hello and welcome to yet another guest segment on Africa Business Radio. I am Chukwunonso Modi. Today we are talking about sustainability and trying ways on how to drive behavior changes pattern in consumers. Now, with landfills filling up and contributing to methane gases harming the environment, there is a collective need for companies and startups to start making a difference and encouraging better, more sustainable consumer habits. Now, joining us to talk about sustainable consumer habits is a 26-year-old entrepreneur with a passion to use business as a force for good. With a Bachelor of Business Science in Finance and Accounting from the University of Cape Town, from selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards at his junior school to co-founding the Roy Boys Tea Bar at the Orange Estate Market with his brother during university, entrepreneurship and innovation runs deep in his blood, and is something that propelled him to enter into the X Prize Fellowship with Peter Diamandis and to earn a seat and ticket to the 2019 conference at Gay Raz's How I Built This Fellowship. Now, this aspiration to make change at both an environmental and societal level has led him to co-found his most recent venture, 4 weeks, an innovative coffee pod startup with a mission to shift coffee habits and culture. He is the handsome Daniel Pretorius. Welcome, Daniel. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Norman. So it's lovely to be here with you today.
Okay. So just a little something. I actually had to ask Daniel how to pronounce the name of his company, because to me it was 4WKS and he had to correct me that it's 4 weeks. Innovative, interesting.
That's hysterical. Yes, we often get that. Some people say orcs, some forks, but yes, it is pronounced 4 weeks.
Okay.
Which is the acronym, obviously, for the time period, 4 weeks.
Okay, all right, okay. So first, I'm curious, when did you realize that you wanted to be an innovator, an entrepreneur? How did the journey start for you, and then how has it impacted you as well?
I think that, I've been extremely grateful to grow up in a family that sort of fosters entrepreneurship. Okay. And I think that, from a young age, I loved watching my dad come up with ideas and execute those ideas. And that's really where, my passion was born for becoming an entrepreneur, or for becoming someone who loves coming up with ideas and then, delivering those ideas. Okay. And it was when my brother and I think we were 9 years old, we started selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what those are, they're game cards. And the passion and the excitement and desire was born at a young age.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I mean, at 9, you already came up with that to sell cards like that. Did you make enough profits though?
Yes, that was, I guess, the most exciting part at that age. We were extremely young, and to make a little bit of pocket money was a lot of fun. Okay. I remember our headmaster or principal at the school at that time actually called us in and asked us if we would please share the profit with the school. And I think that the economics behind that was sort of the principle that remains with us today.
Okay, nice. Okay, now let's talk about the critical issue of waste. How bad is it? How much has it affected the environment?
I think that one of the things that we've become, accustomed to as consumers is this idea of grab, go, throw. I think we're so used to, buying a product, consuming it, and then throwing it away.
Okay.
And dustbins are sort of notorious for out of sight, out of mind. And I think that, growing up, I've never really understood, what happens to waste. And when those landfill trucks come and collect our waste in front of our house or in our office blocks, what actually happens to what we've discarded? And I think that visiting some of the landfills here in South Africa, it was, extremely eye-opening that, we as consumers literally throw things away, and the landfill is a hole that gets filled up, it gets compacted.
Okay.
And that was quite a scary, thing for me to witness and observe. And yeah, I was sort of, seeing that really highlighted this issue of, okay, cool, what can be done with waste, and can we monetize it, and is it actually, valuable? And I think that one of our mentors, Ravi Naidu, he always said to us that waste is a design flaw. And that was a very interesting concept, and something which we, keep with us today, as we sort of follow this journey of waste management for 4 weeks.
Okay, 4 weeks. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, why is there a need for sustainable consumer habits? How can it make a difference?
Well, I think it's exactly that. I think the core comes down to, how can we look at waste as actually, a valuable resource?
Mm-hmm.
And, at the moment, 90% of waste in South Africa is going into landfills. Mm-hmm. And so I think what we are trying to achieve is how can we divert waste from landfills into the correct waste management stream.
Okay.
And the stream that we specifically are focused on is organic waste, which at the moment occupies about 40% of landfills in South Africa.
40%.
And if we can take that waste out of that organic waste out of the landfills, we can turn it into a valuable resource, which is compost. And yeah, so to answer your question, I think that, it's really looking at how can we remove waste from landfills and turn it into something that we can actually use.
Okay. Now, speaking about this sustainable consumer habits, your company has launched yet another innovation for this course. Tell us about it.
Cool. So I think to take a little bit of a step back just so, everyone can understand, what 4 weeks is.
Okay.
I think we are a young startup in South Africa that manufactures and sells fresh compostable coffee capsules.
Okay.
And so we really are focused on the single-use coffee capsule industry. And I think we identified, wanted to challenge two aspects. One was, the sustainability, which we've spoken a lot about. Most single-use capsules today are made from aluminium or plastic. And if landed up in landfills, they remain there for up to 500 years. And the second aspect that we really wanted to challenge was the coffee inside the capsule. And, that was really, we didn't really understand why coffee was being roasted in Italy, packed in Italy and then sent all the way to South Africa and drunk in South Africa, when we've got such a vibrant, exciting coffee culture in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's really what 4 weeks does. And in terms of this innovation and to sort of complete this 360-degree cycle, we sell our capsules in refillable glass jars to the first-time consumer. And for our retention or our retaining customers, for people who come back, they will buy their capsules in what we call the 4 weeks pod pouch. And this is a development and an innovation that we're really excited about. And I guess what that allows people or encourages people is it is a catalyst for change. And so once that pod pouch is opened up and decanted, it then serves as a storage or a vehicle. And that pouch can then be refilled with the used capsules. It can then be zipped up, and the entire pouch itself with the capsules inside can then be composted. And in that way, it's our small way of sort of taking responsibility from the waste that our company generates and then turning that into compost.
To me, that's not a small way. That's a big and phenomenal way to do that. I mean, this is not just an innovative layer to, the zero waste approach to packaging. It's more of an awareness to the critical issue of waste. How has the response been so far, the reception after, the launch of this product?
Well, I think, the response has been really great. It's definitely been our most exciting launch and innovation of the year. So it's something that, my co-founders and I put a lot of time and energy into. And so to see the uptake and sort of the energy around it has been really exciting and encouraging. And I think that, with change, there definitely is some difficulty. And, it means that people have to change their habits. And we know that takes time and energy, communication and education. So there definitely is a friction barrier. And that's something that we're really excited to challenge. And I think that, we did one of my favorite books is a book by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. And he speaks about, how small habits can accumulate to create big change. And I think that's something that we really focused on with this pouch, is encouraging people to be aware of what happens to something when they discard of it. And, if they can get used to putting their capsules back into this pod pouch and composting it, hopefully that, sort of ripples into different aspects of their life, and they can then become aware of what they are putting in the dustbin and I guess how they can better manage their waste.
True. I agree with you. There's going to be sort of a challenge because there's so much power with consumer mindfulness and, of course, collaboration. We can't fight this if the consumer themselves are not ready to, pair together and say, okay, we need to fight. Nice. Now, for this innovation, is it just in South Africa? Can we get it? I mean, it's something that I feel the whole world should, key into, because most people take coffee these days as something that is a booster for people. So is it just in South Africa now? It's a spread?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. And at the moment, specifically with regards to 4 weeks, it's only available in South Africa.
Okay.
But I think what really is exciting for us is to be completely open source and transparent with what we've developed.
Okay.
And hopefully that can encourage, other encapsulators, globally to shift with us and to adopt a similar mindset to their products and their packaging. There definitely is in our short to medium plan to expand, wider in South Africa. But at the same time, we don't want to be shipping coffee that's roasted in South Africa, across the globe. We would rather work with, different cities around the globe as opposed to exporting and shipping the product.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk about the role of the government now. Because, this issue is not just affecting companies and startups. It's affecting everybody at large. So what role are they playing to help? Are they doing anything, or is just an issue of the companies, startups just pushing by themselves?
So I think there's two answers to this question. I guess the first one in South Africa, which has been quite difficult, is obviously access to capital and to cash flow. And I think that, as a developing country, South Africa hasn't yet presented us with the facilities to, expand as fast as we would have. So I guess that's definitely something which is quite challenging at the moment. And then I think the second thing, which obviously to facilitate our packaging and this idea of being able to compost our product, that requires that local municipalities have industrial composting facilities in place to treat this waste. And at the moment in South Africa, we only have these facilities in the Western Cape. And so I think we really want to work closely with the South African government, to encourage each province, to have their own composting facilities. So, we can not only, manage our 4 weeks waste, but organic waste in general.
Yeah.
And, I think that's really something really exciting that we are definitely going to dive deeper into and hopefully work closer with municipalities around South Africa.
Okay, fantastic. Now let's talk about you and working in the coffee space. How has it been? What has it taught you? And what lessons do you want people to take from it?
I think, overall, this journey's been incredibly enjoyable. I think that, I definitely feel grateful for being presented the opportunity to sort of follow a passion. And I think that, 4 weeks was co-founded with my brother, who's 1 year younger than me, and my older cousin. And I think it's been an incredible opportunity to be able to work with family and to learn, from those around me. I think that, one of the biggest learnings from starting 4 weeks is really realizing that we have this opportunity of choice. And being able to choose, how we spend our time and our days. And I think that the freedom that choice has provided me has definitely been, something that I'm, really enjoyed and that I'm very grateful for. And something that, is a privilege.
Yes.
And I hope that, I will continue to be able to do that. And encourage, those, young entrepreneurs out there with ambitious mindsets to follow their passion and to know that they do have the choice to do what makes them happy and I guess what makes them tick.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you for this conversation, Daniel. Oh my God. Thank you for having this conversation with me.
Great. And I think, a big thank you to you too. I think it's conversations like these that shine a spotlight on a few of the areas that we as, young creative thinkers, need to solve.
Yes.
So we've loved being here and it was great to spend some time with you.
Oh, thank you. All right, that was Daniel Pretorius, co-founder for Weeks. We have more coming your way. Stay tuned.